Hello everyone, in this video I'm going to show you my dual wield build, which is perfect for New Game Plus and any other content before and after that. The core concept of the build is to make use of the 6-piece effect of the Bloodthirsty Fiend set, which allows us to use the Gale Doom skill, which is extremely strong and allows us to deal a ton of damage, spam our Whirlwind skill faster, and constantly stagger the enemy. The major downside of this build is that it requires a ton of spirit to pull out the combo, and if you make any mistakes you will be at a huge disadvantage and lose a ton of DPS, so you need to really manage your spirit well and be very knowledgeable of the boss attack patterns. It also struggles a lot against enemies or bosses that like to run away from you and move a lot. For this reason, if you are looking for the best build overall, I still recommend my spear build, which you can find on my channel, which is much better than this build in almost all situations. The playstyle revolves around combining the Phantom, Sword Dance and Gale Doom skills with our Whirlwind skill to deal huge amounts of stamina damage and constantly stagger the enemy by attacking non-stop. When the enemy becomes exhausted, we are using our swift attacks, which are enhanced by the Gale Doom skill, to deal insane amounts of DPS. The only limiting factor of this build is the amount of stamina you have. For this reason, we will be focusing most of our attributes and status points on gaining as much stamina as possible. I was able to beat True Ending Ozma and many other bosses in New Game Plus with this build relatively easily, so I can attest that the build is very strong if used correctly. Let's dive into the gear pieces we are using for this build. The main version of the build, which is ideal for Endgame and New Game Plus, consists of the following gear pieces: Bloodthirsty Fiend's Dual Wield, Bewildered Jar or Cutie Jar, 4 armor pieces of the Bloodthirsty Fiend set, 1 piece of the Crushed Dreams set, more specifically the ring, and 1 piece of the Unending Tragedy set, more specifically the necklace. With all of these items combined, we get the following set bonus totals: 10% swift attack damage increase, 0.04 spirit accumulation per swift attack hit, 2% health recovery when attacking an exhausted enemy, 20% swift attack stamina damage increase, 10% damage increase against solo enemies, and 15% damage increase while above 50% stamina. We are also getting the following fixed attributes from each epic gear piece equipped: Phantom Bloody Sword Dance skill from the weapon, extra willpower from the Bewildered or Cutie Jars, 5% swift attack damage increase from the Bloodthirsty Fiend's Pauldrons, 5% spirit accumulation from the Bloodthirsty Fiend Gauntlet, 5% swift attack damage increase from the Bloodthirsty Fiend's Leggings, 5% spirit accumulation from the Bloodthirsty Fiend's Shoes, 5 lightning attack damage from the Elamain's Ring, and 100 max stamina from the Necklace of the Singing Hawk. The reason we are using a jar helmet instead of the Bloodthirsty Fiend's helmet in this build is because we don't need the fixed attribute from that helmet, and the jar helmet allows us to use 2 accessories from 2 different sets to get 2 powerful set effects. We also gain 10 extra willpower from this jar helmet, which allows us to go over the 99 points limit and gain some extra damage and weapon damage. For this build, maintaining agility at an A rating is not necessary. Agility is a stat that affects your stamina regen and dodge stamina cost, but since this build is focused on attacking non-stop and we care more about raw stamina than stamina regen, it is perfectly fine to keep our agility at B instead of A. In order to keep our agility at a B rating, we need to have below 75% weight. We need to put points into vitality and strength in order to manage this, because the Bloodthirsty Fiend's armor set is one of the heaviest sets in the game. Since you will need vitality anyway to be able to survive in New Game Plus, and dual wield scales with strength, it goes hand in hand with the weight requirement for agility, because vitality and strength will increase your weight capacity. If you are not in New Game Plus yet and do not have access to epic rarity items, just use unique items or whatever rarity you have. The build still works the same regardless of item rarity or level. Let's get into the attributes we should look for on our items when re-rolling. When it comes to offensive attributes, which can only roll on weapons, helmets, gloves, shoes and accessories, we are looking to prioritize the following attributes: max stamina, attack damage, damage multiplier increase, and damage increase. When it comes to defensive attributes, which can only roll on armors and pants, we are looking to prioritize the following attributes: max stamina, stamina recovery, and defense or health. Keep in mind that the higher the level of your gear, the higher the values of the random attributes you can get, so always keep your gear close to your character level and try to aim for the best possible rolls on your random attributes. When it comes to the Phantom, the ideal one is Keshta the Unyielding. Like I mentioned earlier, the only limiting factor in this build is your stamina. Keshta helps us by giving us 30% stamina recovery, and more importantly, it restores 15% of our stamina when an enemy becomes exhausted. We also get 30% additional stamina recovery when we run out of stamina, which is incredibly helpful. For the stats, you want to put 99 points into willpower first, since it's our main damage scaling stat for dual wield. After willpower, put 99 points into endurance for as much stamina and stamina recovery as possible. If you don't have enough points for that, stop at 60 endurance. After you're done with willpower and endurance, depending on how many points you have left, put 60 into vitality and the rest into strength, or put whatever you have left into vitality. Prioritize strength last, but make sure to balance your vitality and strength in order to stay at agility B. Keep in mind that dual wield weapons are scaling mostly on willpower and lastly on strength. Let's jump into the core skills we are using in this build. Starting off with the common tree, we need the following skills: Opportunistic Spirit maxed out, Berserk Spirit maxed out, Indomitable Spirit maxed out, Reviving Spirit if you're in New Game Plus, Battle Thirst if you're in New Game Plus, and Counterattack tree maxed out. Moving on to the dual wield tree, we need the following skills: Whirlwind, Whirlwind Swiftness, Phantom Sword Dance maxed out, Gale Doom equipped, Ruthless Branch maxed out, Wind Piercer Branch maxed out, Deafness Branch maxed out, Fleet-footed maxed out, Cold Blood Stamina maxed out, Cold Blood Spirit maxed out, Disciplined Action Branch maxed out, and Ironclad. The rest of the skill points can go into whatever other skills you prefer to use against regular enemies. One important thing here is to not put any points into Whirlwind Chain. You do not want to waste time going into this attack when you land after Whirlwind. You want to spam the Whirlwind skill as fast as possible. The core skills for this build are Phantom Sword Dance, Whirlwind, Gale Doom, and Phantom Bloody Sword Dance. Phantom Sword Dance is an active effect that lasts 40 seconds and adds phantom attacks to your Whirlwind skill, which massively increases the damage and stun damage of the skill. Whirlwind is a skill that we are using immediately after doing 1 or 2 swift attacks in order to deal a lot of damage quickly, gain a lot of spirit, and deal a lot of stamina damage. You always want to spam the triangle button to perform the downward skill attack as well. Gale Doom is an active effect that lasts for 30 seconds and enhances your swift attacks, meaning your light attacks. The way it enhances them is by increasing their damage considerably, almost doubling it, increasing their attack speed, and improving the last 2 attacks in the attack string. Because of this increase in damage and attack speed, we can keep enemies constantly staggered while dealing a ton of damage. Another use of this effect is when we are coming out of our downward whirlwind attack, we can quickly do 1 or 2 attacks and go into another whirlwind faster. If you have both Gale Doom and Phantom Sword Dance active, every single attack will call a Phantom to attack alongside you because of the Phantom Bloody Sword Dance skill. This is why it's very important to have both skills active at the same time and not separately. Even though these skills are extremely strong, they also cost a ton of spirit, making them risky to use. Gale Doom has a cost of 4 spirit and Phantom Sword Dance costs 2 spirit, meaning a total of 6 spirit for this combo. This means you have 40 seconds until the combo fully expires to generate 6 spirit. Luckily, the Bloodthirsty Fiend set makes our swift attacks generate slightly more spirit, and spamming our Whirlwind will generate a ton of spirit as well. Whenever you're low on spirit, just do a couple of Whirlwind attacks and you should gain 6 spirit relatively quickly. This combo is very risky because if you happen to get hit a lot or if the boss happens to run around while your combo is active, you are losing out on DPS and also losing a lot of spirit for nothing. For this reason, it is important to carefully choose the moment when you can use your combo and go all out, depending on the boss fight. The main damage combo is the following: activate Phantom Sword Dance, activate Gale Doom, perform 1 swift attack and then quickly press the button for Whirlwind and keep spamming it until you come down. Immediately when you come down, perform another 1 or 2 swift attacks and quickly use Whirlwind and keep spamming it until you come down. Repeat these steps until you either run out of stamina or until the enemy or boss becomes exhausted. When the boss or enemy is exhausted, instead of doing swift attack into Whirlwind, just spam your swift attacks non-stop for the highest DPS. Don't forget to use your brutal attack when the enemy is almost out of exhaustion to gain a ton of stamina back. Immediately after the brutal attack, use your Phantom Sword Dance and Gale Doom again, since you should have enough spirit. Start with your regular combo again to deal a ton of stamina damage. Keep repeating these steps, and that's how you can destroy any boss in the game with this build. Make use of consumables such as Spirit Ores, Vitality Spheres and Weapon Enhancers to get the most DPS possible during boss fights. Try to perfect parry attacks if you're confident you can do it, but focus more on perfect dodging and countering burst attacks to reduce the boss stamina bar and get a lot of spirit and a great window to start using your combo. Try to always start your combo when you have a high amount of stamina, at least 75%, because you want to get the most possible spirit and damage out of the 40 seconds duration of the combo. Use the Wind Piercer skill to close up distance on enemies if you have a lot of spirit to use. Make sure to always keep an eye on your buffs bar to see when your Gale Doom and Phantom Sword Dance skills are about to expire. That would be it for this video. If you have any questions about the build or want to see other builds, let me know there in the comments. Thanks for watching and I'll catch you in the next one.